All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for a brand new series that is now going to be part of the J&J Toy Giants library of content. As I stated, maybe in some live videos, if you were lucky enough to join one of our lives, or if I mentioned it on an actual unboxing or pick a card series, that Jaden and I, are going to start doing a lot more collecting comics. He's actually gotten a few. I've gotten a lot over the years. I just haven't, gone over them, as content. I may have posted that I've bought them or purchased them, but not necessarily showing the viewers here on the J&J Toy Giants YouTube channel. We are glad that you guys are willing to take this leap of faith with us. We don't know how well this particular series is going to do. Maybe people like it. Maybe they won't like it. You never know. But so this is going to be Turn the Page is what we're going to call it. J&J Toy Giants Turn the Page, where we go over some comics that we purchased as kind of like a weekly purchase. So the very first one that we're going to go over is X-Men. I'm sorry, not X-Men. Incredible Hulk number 385. And this is where the Hulk teams up with Pantheon to fight this guy here, Gestalt. I hope I said that correctly. But just take it back here real quick, just to kind of the nostalgia feel of the advertisements that we would see on comic books back then. I mean, just the actual comic itself is one thing, but when you actually turn the page, pun on words here, and you see the advertisements of what they were selling back in the day, it is pretty cool. So this is obviously the Capri Sun cooler, Pacific cooler. But I actually didn't have this issue when I was a kid. But, it does seem pretty cool. Just talking about the advertisement here, trading cards like these only come once along every few years. Star Trek by, hold on. By the company Impel. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. There we go. So yeah, I actually went through this right before I was actually going to record, and I was kind of mesmerized by the artwork. You don't really see this type of artwork anymore. Now it's a little bit more digital. You don't hand draw it on a paper anymore. It's all digital now, which is, I'm not knocking it. It's just like, you can tell this was a retro type of a comic just by the artwork in and of itself. Now, of course, this also has another advertisement for the Punisher Game Boy game. Yes, Game Boy. Remember the Game Boy, guys? For some of you that are a lot younger than I, may not know what a Game Boy is. But actually, you may have like the Game Boy Color. Maybe if you were old enough or young enough to get that when you were a kid. But this was our Game Boy from the 80s and 90s. I believe it came out in the 90s. But that was what the game looked like. A very generic green and black, on the actual game itself. But yeah, I really liked going over this comic before I actually was going to record. One thing I also wanted to make mention is, for those of you that remember, I just did the Marvel Series 1 trading cards that I got from my buddy Lenny. There's an advertisement on the back for that specific, and so it looks like Impel was the manufacturer of these trading cards back in the day for these Marvel Series 1 and Series 2, I believe. Swap cards with everyone in the human race and some who aren't. Nice. And on the back here, you can see some other advertisements from other Fleer trading cards. But also, too, this is where you can get, you didn't have the internet back then, so you couldn't go to eBay. So this is basically how we would search for certain number of comics. So you get 3 titles for the price of 2. Summer specials that they were having at that time. Let's go back a little bit here. It's the green mail, where you can send in your mail and ask certain questions or give your opinion on certain books that you've read. bulletins, bullpen bulletins and stuff like that. Just something that they wanted to let you know what was going on with Marvel at the time. So Stan Lee would have that listed on some of the books here. But yeah, I think it was a cool thing to have. And then of course, look at these. You can see books. This is basically our eBay, guys, or our Google. You had to buy the comics and see the. There were other manufacturers that did the same thing, but Stridex. I used to actually use Stridex very, very often because I had a lot of acne when I was a kid. Kids go through that, especially teen boys or preteen boys when you're growing up. It's just a fact of life. You may not have had a lot. I didn't have a lot, but I had some. But and then there are folks like even my dad. My dad had acne so bad. I don't think I had a picture of when he had that bad acne because it was when he was a lot younger, like just out of high school, even through high school. And back in the day, not to get gross or anything like that, but back in the day, when you go to the doctor, they would just cut them with like razor blades. And he had a lot of markings on his face because of that. So they obviously changed up their ways of getting rid of acne. But yeah, so you can see some of these other pages. This is some advertisements for Score football cards. I think I have a pack of football cards from Score. I have to check. But here, another bulletins from Marvel. Also, too, this was cool. I saw this right before I started recording. So you could actually send this back in the day and basically get now on Sega Genesis, which is a console, kind of like an Xbox or PS5 now. Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo system. These were our gaming systems back in the day, and they used cartridges. So this is my advertisement, so you could send this in, and you could get specific the actual game itself. But this particular comic came with a trading card, so you can take that out, which is pretty cool. On the back here, you can see, of course, anybody who knows games knows what this game is. Mortal Kombat came out in September of 1993, which was, I believe, on a Monday. It was called Mortal Monday. Mortal Monday, yeah, that's what they called it. And then the next one here, X-Men number 71. This is the issue when it says it even on the cover. It says when Cyclops and Phoenix leave the group. So as you open it up here, you see some advertisements for X-Men. So basically this was previously in X-Men. So you could read up on what was going on beforehand if you didn't have that issue that came before here. They had a little folder. This was actually also an advertisement for the movie Beavis and Butthead Do America. For those that are actually watching Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus, this was actually on MTV late at night. I used to watch Beavis and Butthead a lot when I was a preteen. So I think it was like 12, 13. I think that was around the time. See, when did this movie come out? 1997. So I was 14 going on 15 at that point in time. But they were on MTV prior to that when they started. But then that's when the movie was coming out on VHS, which was prior to streaming on Hulu or Vudu or even Netflix. You would buy them even before DVDs. You buy them on cassette videotapes and have a VCR. Then came DVD, and then HD DVD, and then Blu-ray. 4K, but then now people don't really save physical media anymore. They basically just buy it on streaming. Which, fun fact about this too, just so you know, when you buy something on a streaming service such as Vudu, Amazon Prime, or any TV show or movie you buy, you don't actually own it. You own the rights to actually view it, so long as they have it in their library. So if they lose the license to be able to carry a specific movie on their library and it goes away, even though you paid for it, you won't be able to see that anymore. Which is why a lot of people stick to physical copies or physical media. So even if it's not available on streaming, you still have it on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K. so that you would always have it, no matter what happens, where you would go or anything like that. You would always be able to watch whatever movie that you purchased through any of those streaming services. So Marvel Premium X-Men 97. This is an advertisement. I don't remember this. This is the greatest X-Men card sets. Oh, these are card sets. Okay, so by Fleer. I don't remember having those cards before, so I may have to check in on that. But this is actually a pretty cool book here. All right, and then finally for this particular episode of Turn the Page, there's going to be a lot more here, is X-Men number 66, Return of Iceman. Of course, another advertisement in the fold-out. So previously on or in X-Men. So these particular comics that I'm looking at, these two here, were based on the actual TV series that was on Fox. So there are some stories that are intertwined from the episodes that you would see on the Fox show. Combos, let me just tell you right now, this is like my one thing that I love to have as a snack. They were not good for you, but combos are the best. Specifically the cheddar cheese, and then of course the pizzeria pretzel. Those are pretty cool. They actually do sell them still. So if you guys are never had combos, I would definitely suggest you try it. You could probably find it at any gas station, Stewart's, Cumberland Farms, or even Walmart or Target. You can find them there. But this the artwork here. Artwork did, and even in the last issue that I just showed, it did improve. So you can tell exactly, like, the artwork is a lot more. What's the word I want to use? Not necessarily better, because they were all good. It was just more defined as far as like the shades of the colors, the paper, or I would say the colors really pop a little bit more in the later 90s than it was in the 80s and the 70s and all that. And of course, that also has to do with the paper that they were using too. This is an advertisement for Virtua Fighter, which was a arcade game, I believe it was, that was ported to the Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn was the system that came right after the Sega Genesis and the 32X, and the Sega CD, they were all consoles or attachments. The Sega Genesis was the main console, but the 32X and the Sega CD were attachments that would go with the Sega Genesis. And then the new system after that was Sega Saturn. But this actually didn't last long, because there were I think they rushed it, and it didn't have the ability to get like a big library. So therefore this didn't really sell that well, and it wasn't even a thing that people wanted to do, because shortly thereafter the Sega Dreamcast came out. So there's one thing, a little bit of a history here as far as gaming is concerned. You can see this artwork here. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's see what's on the back here. Another advertisement for Beavis and Butthead Do America. And then Marvel Team Up number 1, this July, starring Spider-Man and Generation 9. I'm sorry, Generation 6, sorry. It's pretty cool. All right, so that does it for this edition of Turn the Page, brought to you by J&J Toy Giants. So just a recap here. These are the comics that we just went over. If you guys find these issues, and I'm sure you can find them at like a comic book store, and now that you can replay the video if you want, so you can get the numbers. So obviously, X-Men number 71 and X-Men Volume 2 number 23. So basically, that's what you want to look for, is the numbers on these comics, so that you can find them at your local comic book shop, or even online, or eBay. I'm sure you can find them on eBay and stuff like that, even Mercari, whatnot. I'm actually toned it down with the Whatnot myself, so that's actually a pretty cool thing. I mean, I was buying from Whatnot quite a bit in like the last 4 months, 5 months. I haven't purchased anything from Whatnot since December. So about 5 months now. But thank you so very much, and I will be with you in a moment. Yes, thank you so very much, guys, for being with us on this new segment of the J&J Toy Giants YouTube channel. Turn the page. We're going to be doing a lot more of these in the near future. But be sure to like and subscribe, and also comment on any of our video submissions on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And follow us on TikTok. Also follow us on Twitch. We're also going to be doing a lot of game streams, YouTube Live. But thank you so very much, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all our new content coming your way. Have a great day.